Yeah, so starting off with session one, we're really excited to introduce our first speaker, Salman Bawa. He is a sessional instructor and community engagement leader at McMaster, where he teaches engineering and management 2AA3 communication skills. In this course, he works with students to develop clear, structured, and impactful communication for professional settings, from interviews to presentations to team-based problem solving. Drawing on his experience across engineering, entrepreneurship, and community collaboration, Salman focuses on what makes individuals stand out: clarity of thought, confidence in delivery, and the ability to communicate value effectively. His practical, real world approach helps students translate their ideas into compelling narratives. As his past student, I can confidently say that his approach completely changed the way I communicate and show up in professional spaces. So, welcome, Salman, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Nicole, for the very kind introduction. And good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I should be able to forward my slides. Let me see. Okay, great. So, um, in the 1990s, when I was a student in elementary school in Karachi, Pakistan, we would be asked to stand outside of the classroom if we would misbehave. And when the principal would be on the rounds checking in on us, those who would be standing outside, we would rather seem occupied or start to walk towards the washroom in order to avoid being perceived as being punished. And this, to us, was the art of standing out. And now, almost a generation later, the phrase seems to have a very positive twist to it. So, let's talk about the art of standing out in interviewing skills. And in the next 15 minutes, we will reinforce the psychological and the technical concepts of interviews. So, firstly, many congratulations to all those who have gone through 18 weeks of rigorous entrepreneurial training. And I hope that that has been a very fulfilling experience for you. Now, as you see the picture on the slide, this has been floating on social media, that happiness essentially is a state of mind. It's a mindset, and prepping for interview also needs a certain mindset. Uh, Essentially, the growth mindset, which is the catalyst for significant improvement in your speaking abilities. However, there is a block to achieving that, and that block is your own internal yikes. I have to perform. Oh my God, I will be judged. What should I do now? So that imposter syndrome, your inner voice kind of takes over. And so there are two principles that I want to share with you on how you could address that. The first is the not yet attitude. When your inner voice tells you you cannot soar higher, you rebound and tell your inner voice, not yet. I can reach there. And the second tool that you could use is the prosecution, defense, and the judgment tool. And in this tool, what happens is that your inner voice is telling you, Salman, what do you know about the art of standing out? And I defend myself against my inner voice telling it, what are you talking about? In fact, I know both kinds of standing outs across two different generations. And so the judgment is going to be through the proofs of my career. So I urge you to use these two tools and then start practicing your interviews, particularly starting with your circle of trust, your parents, your siblings, your close friends. Show them the instruction booklet that you have received from JA, and ask and practice your presentation skills in front of them, your interview skills in front of them, and then gently push the boundaries of exploration, meaning that now you can include your neighbors, your acquaintances, your uncles and aunts. Maybe you might want to include your competition. And so when you practice, you will make mistakes. How to deal with the mistakes that you make while you're practicing? Let's look at the film industry. You have seen bloopers, you have seen behind the scenes, and when actors make mistakes, they simply treat it as missed takes. And so that is the attitude that one should have when they make mistakes. The next is the next play attitude, which you see in sports, whether that be basketball or whether that be hockey. You cannot just sigh and start pondering over why you missed a goal. You need to just move to the next play. And when you do that, remember that you need to have a growth plus gratitude mindset. Because when you soar higher, through applying these tools, you do not want to forget those who helped you reach there, your colleagues, your teammates, your coaches who have helped you. So the growth plus gratitude mindset essentially slays the arrogance. And what it does is that it essentially activates your prefrontal cortex and suppresses your amygdala. In English language, that means that it helps you be your better self. It essentially keeps you in the present. So you smile often. You don't forget to greet, saying hello in the beginning or thank you at the end of the interview. And it helps you display your authenticity. And one tool that we could use to be in the present is the square breathing. What it is essentially is that you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, and then you hold for another 4 seconds before repeating this cycle. And I would like to introduce you to my good old friend, Mr. Happy Trash Can. And what Mr. Happy Trash Can does, I imagine when I square breathe, that Mr. Happy Trash Can takes away all my worries, all my stress, all my distraction. So be with me here. Let's practice this one time. Let's inhale. And while holding it for 4 seconds, let's imagine that all your stress, all your worries, all your distractions are going to Mr. Happy Trash Can. He's very happy to receive all your stress, your worries, and then exhale. So I hope that that made you feel better and keeps you in the present. Now, a second aspect of interviewing skills is the art of active listening. And while we listen through our ears, how do we prove to the other person that we have listened to them? It's through our body language. So lean into the person who is talking to you. Establish the eye contact and maintain it. Nod while you're listening to the questions. And remember that true comprehension avoids all kinds of interruptions. So, yes, cutting someone off is extremely rude and should be avoided. At the same time, remember that you should not fall victim to wandering off in your inner thoughts. So, that soft interruption should also be avoided. And when you truly understand what the interviewer is asking, that is when you build empathy. And to build that kind of rapport with the interviewer, paraphrasing a tough question is one of the tools that you might want to use. Now, some people would think that paraphrasing leads to negative impressions. You might not have understood the question the first time, but that is not the case. In fact, what happens is that when you paraphrase the question, you could either get the buy-in of the interviewer or you could get clarification on the question. And both cases essentially set you up for success. And when you do that, you essentially control the perception of the interviewer. The interviewer feels that this person has listened to me. Now, let me reciprocate. It also helps you to embrace the pause particularly when you get a question that you have already prepared for. So you know the answer to this question, yet you want to take that moment, you want to take that pause, you want to control the perception that you are thinking through the question, and then knock the ball off the stadium with your response. So this way, you do not come across as rehearsed. And finally, active listening essentially helps you gather your thoughts. It helps you with better articulation and adapt to a structure. What structure, you might ask? Well, there are several structures, and we'll go through some of them. The first being the entrepreneurial articulation, and you'll see Gabriel in his presentation would present a variation of this tool. But just to give you an example and illustrate this example, teenagers would be my customers. Teenagers find it really hard to wake up in the morning. Why? Because they are on their screens late at night. And so they are always running late for their morning appointments. That's the problem. The solution is this physical AI arm that jumps out of your phone and slaps you to wake up. And so the value proposition here is that you would never be late for your morning appointments. The second tool could be the art of persuasion. This was on full display during the COVID time. Wear a mask so that the virus, wear a three-layer mask so that the virus does not enter your nose or your mouth and then you fall sick. Why wouldn't you wear a mask? Do you want to fall sick? Or if you're already sick, why wouldn't you wear a mask? Do you want others to fall sick? This is how you were being persuaded to wear a mask through the channel of emotions. And then news anchors would call doctors and nurses who had credibility in the medical field, and they were sharing their reasons why you should be wearing a mask. So that's the three ways you can persuade people. The power of triads. There are three things that you're learning through this presentation. The growth plus gratitude mindset. The second is the art of active listening. And the third is the use of articulation tools. So human mind can adapt and understand to the power of three. So triads. You should not go more than three because that dilutes the matter. Less than three, yes, that's fine. The single most important thing you can learn from this presentation is to transfer all your worries to Mr. Happy Trash Can. The next is STAR for storytelling, right? So the situation could be that my colleague has to go on a leave because of a family emergency situation. Her task becomes my task. The action that I take is go to my manager and discuss priorities, which tasks are on the critical timeline. The result is that by prioritizing, we are able to complete the critical tasks in time. And the L in the STAR, which is a silent L, is in fact very important because now I have learned to value the work that my colleague does by doing her work. The next is the CAR for accomplishment statements. Venworth Sports Complex had a fire and was burnt down for 2 years. They lost significant revenue. However, when they opened up, instead of installing the ice rings back, they dismantled all that and put in the pickleball courts. And so pickleball is a very famous sport. And so they were able to gain their revenue and make up for the years that they had lost. So that's CAR, a tool for accomplishment statements. So why follow a structure? Because structure essentially sets you free. Why does it set you free? It's because it's a rhetorical communication tool that has been there for ages. People know about it, people relate to it, and so it helps bridge the gap between the young and the old. And so it helps in both articulate communication and also improved understanding. So essentially, I leave you tonight with three ideas on how to stand out in an interview. Number one, the growth plus gratitude mindset, conversational mindset. Number two, the art of active listening. And number three, the skill sets for articulate communication. With that, I wish you all the best for your upcoming interviews, and I'm open to taking your questions. Do connect with me and stay in touch. Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Professor Bawa. If you guys do have any questions, just hold off on them or put them in the Q&A section and we will get to them in just a bit